Okay, we're back. And now we're going to do a little update on my wraith here. I'm currently building a custom wraith for my buddy, and we got a hold of some parts that isn't going to work for his. And he was nice enough to let me get them from him. So what we're going to fix on this is the steering link and the C-hubs and stuff, because this has got to go. See how much them bend in? I mean, look at that. That's just crazy. And when you got a brushless motor, you're going around a turn like this, and this tire wants to turn more, or when you just start turning, this one does this. All it wants to do is roll over. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some aluminum C-hubs, some steering knuckles with the high turn, CVDs, and the hot racing aluminum steering arm. Alright, so I guess the first thing we need to do is get these tires off. Little washer. Sorry for being all arms there. Get them out of the way. See, I think what I'm going to do is just take the axle off maybe. I don't know, I don't believe I need to do that. I think I can just flip this thing back and forth. So we'll try that first. First thing we can do is take off the steering rod. The most used tool in RC. I'm not sure if I need to use them again. I think while I'm at it too, I got some aluminum steering arms. I'm going to go ahead and put one on here. A little bit longer. And we'll keep this in case somebody we know breaks theirs out in the field or something. We'll figure something out. Alright, I actually think I'm going to put one of these tires on. And maybe stick this like this and work on one side at a time. because he's got some weird angles. Ooh, that was loose. Might have already been too. Yeah, Lord, these are just about to fall off. Maybe it's a good thing that I got to this one I did. Drop my little top hat here. I don't think I need these for, but I will need this 12mm here. I think I'm going to leave that on until I get a little further in. Try and see where these are. This looks to be meeting right up at the end of here. I want to make sure I can get them back the way they were, because I was alright with the setup. It just I bought this one as ready to run. Do you have to take the axle apart to get that? Don't know, but I guess we're going to. And I tell you what, so we don't just burn up a bunch of film, let me get this cover off and I'll be right back. Okay, I did find a easier way of doing this. This is the first time I actually got into my axles here. As you can tell, they're, like I said, I bought this ready to run and they're dry as a bone. But you can pop this part off right here, which you have to take off anyway to get your drive shaft, your axles out, your axle shafts out. And it'll come up here like this, which is a lot simpler to see. What I'm going to do is put the CVDs in, so let me get these opened and I'll be right back. Okay. Now what we got is a CVD. This is the, so you can see it. This is your old one, which is a dog bone. As you see, it just fits in this slot. And it's starting to show a little wear, most likely because of the brushless motor. Then you got a CVD, which is a hole. This thing can really take some sharp turns. So this ought to work good since we're putting a sharper turning axle and knuckle on. Make sure you get that in your spot there. And I think we can put these back on. This locks in your locker. Something funky was going on there. I didn't know you had to take them screws out, so I took them out to see why I couldn't get my axle out. Alright, This is the driver's side. So that should be the left. That's a nice looking part, isn't it? And I believe all my bearings are still good, so I'm going to double check that. Take the 12mm off there. Little crazy pin. Get my bearings out. Oh yeah, they're in good shape. Since I got them out, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bearing oil on them. Get the other one out here. You never find what you're looking for. Pollen, pollen, pollen. Quick clean. A little bearing oil. Pop her in. The lid back on that before I spill it all over the place. This out of the way. Old C-hubs, old axles. Where did I put all that stuff? Yep, almost forgot the top hats. Gotta love life. I'm thinking this might have been easier to build if I'd have done put the C-hubs and everything together before I stuck it on the axle. You know what? That's what I'm going to do. Alright, give me just a minute to get these screws back out and I'll be right back. Okay. Now we got one side on. Everything's working good. CVD's turning well. Looks like the turning knuckles and everything are back in the right spot. Do gotta put the bearing back in here. Put our pin back in. Alright, well that's got, looks like a little bit more turning than, definitely in the back. A lot more turning in the back. The stop there isn't doing that. And these little caps here go on top of your screws. It's a nice little addition to cover that up. Keep on my hand. Cover them up. And that's the whole thing. And everything turns well. And it's turning at its sharpest angle like it's nothing. Alright, well let me get this other side apart and get that back on real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, thought I'd show you a little on this one because these things are kind of weird. You put your CVD joint in there, get your little top hats, stick them inside. You see how these are different sizes? Your short side is the size that goes to the, don't forget your bearings. It goes to where the steering arm's on. You get one of your little screws in the cap. Don't forget to put your bearing in the front. It just kind of pesty at the moment. Don't forget this is only aluminum. With aluminum I don't use Loctite because it tends to do something to the aluminum and makes it act funny. Make sure your bearing's in here. Slide your new shafts in. Go ahead and try and get your CVD in there. And then what I do is I take my ruler and set it across here. You make sure you're the same. Now that I know I am, I'll go ahead and push this in. Make sure everything's in. Find the screws wherever the heck I put them. here it is. See, I knew the other ones were too long. Don't forget you're tightening the plastic, so you don't want to get too crazy with it. Alright. Everything still turns real well. Put our little caps on. Now normally I'm a pretty firm believer in if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But that was just about broke. Put our lockers here back in. I don't believe you really need to take them out, but I couldn't see what was going on. Ended up being the 2 screws that go in here that was holding my axle in. This is one of the few I hadn't built from a kit, so some of this stuff I haven't been in yet. Everything's turning good, nothing's hitting anything. Put these screws back in. That was actually nice that they made it this way, because then you can get this axle off without a whole lot of fighting. I mean, you take your 2 links off there and boom, but I didn't want to have to dig out my servo wire and everything. I'm glad this went the way it did. That way I could turn it up to see it. Forget, let me get this bearing in. Pin in. Hex back on. Boy, that's going to work good, but I might need to change my servo arm up, because that really did bring that up. Why I have this open, I'm going to go ahead and grease this thing up a lot better than what it is. I think it's pretty well dry. Always seems these ready to run kits, you don't ever put the grease in. Put our little cap back on here. This wasn't too awful bad to switch out. It kind of a learning curve since I've never really been in these axles, but they're pretty simple. It's kind of self-explanatory once you got in there. Once you realize you got to take these two screws out to get the axle back out. Alright, the only thing we got left to put on is the steering on. A lot of positions there to put that in. And it didn't come with screws. Just surprising, everything else for this did. And I got plenty of them. Alright, let me grab a couple screws and I'll be right back. Okay, I grabbed a couple 12mm screws and stuck them on there real quick. Boy, that's real high. I might have to put this on the bottom, or worst case scenario, I might have stuck these upside down, but I don't believe I did. But give me just a second, I'm going to grab my old book I got here. Make sure I didn't do nothing stupid. Well, it looks like I did the same thing they did. Looks like everything's alright. Give me just a second to burrow over this and I'll be right back. Okay. Back, I think I figured it out. Grab me some 12mm stainless steel screws. And it goes on the bottom. The top was just way too high. They still raised it up quite a bit, as you can see. And it's got a lot of turning radius now, a lot more than it had. So guess we can go ahead and tighten them up. Not sure if this is straight or not. Easy enough to fix if it isn't. I used the big head screws down here. I'll find out if that's going to be a problem. I don't believe it is. Tell you, for some reason it sure feels like I got something on backwards. I think I might have these on the wrong side. Okay, hang on, I'll be right back. Okay, I finally figured something out. What I do is take this piece off of my old knuckles. I think it's the wraith tires themselves. But what was happening with the C-hub the way it was, the steering knuckle the way it was. If I can get you a little closer. This piece was on here. Okay, there you go. This piece was on here. And what it was is the tire was hitting it. So I tried putting it down here. Didn't help much. So what I did is I took these off of the old ones. And I got some little stainless steel button head screws. What I'm doing is I'm sticking them on the underside. And these are a little more narrow. Sometimes you just got to make it work. I don't know why these didn't fit exactly. It says XR10 wraith. I don't know, but anyway, with these down on the bottom, we got a little more clearance on our steering anyway. And all in all, it's the same thing. If anything, we might even have picked up just a little bit more steering. But the best thing is now as the tire goes on, bring you in here. See how close that is? The other part just rubbed the wheel. You can see a little bit of rub on there when I put the wheel on and tightened it up. It just rubbed the wheel. Now it just does clear. Which is alright, clearing's clearing, you know. Once you get the tire on there and tight, it's not going to do anything else. Sometimes you get them universals and they just want to fit too many things. So as long as you can figure these kind of things out, you know, when you start upgrading, customizing, although you buy something you expect it to fit. And I understand that. Sometimes you just gotta play the hand you're dealt. some of these parts out of the way. We'll see how she sits. Alright. Yeah, actually that gave us just a little bit more clearance here too. And we're still way up. And it's got, look at the turning on that. Boy, that thing will turn right into the steering links now if you get too tight. Whew. That's a lot of turning. But that should be a lot stronger. And sorry for all the figuring things out. I mean, you would have thought it had been a direct fit, but like I say, sometimes you just gotta play the hand you dealt. Sometimes, like I say, you just gotta play it as it comes, and everything seems to be good still. And let me get the hood off this thing, and we'll throw a battery in it real quick, and we'll see how she runs around the yard. Plus, I've been meaning I want to take this servo controller off real quick and see if maybe I can tuck that up underneath, because that sure is a pain where it's at. Yeah, let me cut that off and see if I can do something. We'll get us a battery in the sense of watching this, and we'll run outside real quick. Okay. As you can see, she got good turning. Good turning. Where that thing goes real far. Goes right into the links. So it's definitely got a better turning radius. Everything seems to spin alright. Alright, well, let's go take this thing outside one time and see what it looks like. Well, I forgot I had a 3-cell battery in there. Trying to drive with one hand too, so. Maybe I can do a little better holding it this way. Yeah, this is hard to do holding the camera. Got good turning. Bust my damn pool. All right. Well, she's definitely not getting as tippy, but you get on some solid grass where there's no give, and of course there's no slide. At least now you can recover if it starts getting bad. My driver's hanging out the window evidently. Need some air? There, get back in there. Alright, well, she's doing good. I think I might actually do a couple more of these bolts right here and go ahead and put it on all four. I saw the hood did want to jump up, and put these bolts on it, these little spin nuts, and lock the hood down all the way. Now that right there was a 1300 milliamp 3-cell. I got to get me a couple soft packs for this thing, because these hard packs with this front battery mount just don't want to mount correctly. There's not enough around this, and it wants to hold my hood up. But that's it for this update. It sure did a lot better. No more giving in there. Had to do a couple little modifications to make it work, but that's all part of RCing. Alright. Well, sorry about that. My battery went dead. But that's all we're going to do today. That worked out good. And like I was saying, I had to modify a few things, but no big deal. We were able to get it done. And I'm a lot happier with it, with that steering not be so sloppy. Now it's good and tight. And we'll get her on some dirt where it'll slide a little. The thing with that grass is it just grabs and wants to tip you up. But before, any time I got up like that, this other tire would give, and with that bending thing, and it would always flip over. So I'm pretty happy with it. Alright, so I hope you like this. So please like, please subscribe, please comment, and please share. And until the next time, keep RCing.